One of the challenges as architects and technologists we always face is a build versus buy. A key challenge which most of the teams face is something called an NIH syndrome, or a not invented here. So there's a tendency to build everything, and everyone comes up with a lot of different reasons on why they cannot use some other framework. Um, People come up with reasons why things cannot be reused. And in today's world, when a lot of agility and speed is needed, I think it's cumbersome to redevelop stuff. So basically, I wanted to pick this topic to kind of understand, right? What stops us from using existing frameworks, and what is the workaround for that? Right? And obviously, when you use existing stuff, it's going to save a bunch of effort. But there are some
Right.
serious blockers to that. Could be mindset, could be process. So, Deepak, in your opinion, right, what are the points that you have come across people adopting standard frameworks, products, whatever?
Most of the workflow is now being done by non-software people, right? Uh, you look at all these software as service options available now to do workflow,
Mm. Like
right?
Microsoft
So
Flow is an example.
Microsoft Flow, yeah, is a good example. There is, I think, IFTTT, right? Automation Anywhere, right?
Okay.
All these are actually excellent solution to do any workflow, right? And that's, I think, the mindset has to change from the architect side rather than from customer really doesn't care.
Is a even trickier curveball. It says compliance and ownership is a problem. Have you come across these two things, and how do you
I
see
think
handling these issues?
I think increasingly most vendors now provide, of course, software as a service, that they are also concerned by all these things which is being thrown up by compliance requirements like GDPR, and how data is handled outside, how personally identifiable information is handled within the systems. So I believe the SaaS providers are actually much more agile, and because that is their bread and butter, if they don't deliver that GDPR and all the compliance requirements, they are at a more higher risk than an individual corporation is, because for the individual corporation it is just one company. For the SaaS provider, they have to have hundreds and thousands of customers they have to take care of. And everybody starts asking for GDPR, they have to deliver, right? So they are actually, I believe, more aware of this, and I believe they can drive it much faster than individual corporations trying to do their own compliance thing. So
Hmm.
that's my opinion, that in if you start and that is much harder for uh, a small to medium enterprise to actually do, and that is actually a very compelling position for a SaaS provider to make their life easy.
The service providers are spending more time. They specialize in that one. If you look at the T, they go deep in one part,
Yes.
and they are good at that, and you can leverage those capability much easier and start delivering business quickly, and the business really doesn't care what framework you're using at the backend.
Definitely.
Basically, if I understand what you're telling is, conventionally we go for what is familiar with us, and
Yes.
keeping that in mind, you might also look at, does something that is familiar and meets 80% of your needs, if it is fine, it makes sense to go ahead with it. And for the rest 20, look at the options of either pushing those feature back, developing it later, or look at the provider's roadmap to see how long they will support or what they will support. That seems something which we can actually try working out when choosing a plethora of products and which framework to go after. Great. Thanks, Deepak.
uh, another thing I want to just add
Yeah.
is, when should you really decide to build something, right? Now that is a strategic question, right? That should you invest in building something, because building anything costs a lot of resources, right? Now most of the time what the software people are delivering is run of the mill operations stuff, the business operations stuff, right? But the places where they need to invest is something which is going to give that business some strategic advantage, right? If they are developing something specific to their business which nobody has today, right, that is real innovation, right? So the investment has to be, so that is the build or buy decision is based on the investment is for innovation or run of the mill, right?
Good point.
Right. So if it is for innovation which is going to give us a strategic advantage, as you said last time, is that we want innovation to actually deliver revenue, not just be research, right? So that's where the build
That's a good
decision
point. Very good point. Yeah.
should be from the innovation perspective, rather than, it's, I'm not saying that you cannot have innovation with buy, right? You can be very innovative with making a buy decision also, but especially if you are to do something to build which doesn't exist, or there's something unique which will give you some advantage, that is where you should.